Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about another one of the 12 races, and they are known as the Jotun. And yes, that is a take off of the Norse giant reference. Now, in the world of the 12 races, the giants say that they were the first of the hominid races, that the gods created them from the earth itself. But they grew disappointed with their creation and they cast the giants aside. And this second race they created was the first of the 12 races, and it was the Jotun. And the link to the giants is obvious. For the Jotun are the tallest of the races. Female Jotun are 7 feet tall, males are 7'6", males in the 8-foot range are not unheard of. They also have a almost rough, unfinished appearance about them. Their skin tones are in the grays, like light gray to darker gray, almost like stone. All Jotun have black hair, and most of them wear it long. No Jotun males do not have any facial hair. The one place that Jotuns show color, where there is a spark of individuality, are their eyes. The most common eye colors for the Jotun are blue or green. Less common, though still prevalent, are orange and purple, and even a rare occasion, they are red. Among sorcerers, eyes of different colors are very common, and it is said among the Jotun that a baby born with different colored eyes has magic in their blood and are destined to be some kind of magic user. The Jotun burst into the world with an enemy already in existence, for the giants resented their very being. They felt that they should be the ones who were the first race, and they immediately began to war upon the Jotun. And it didn't look good for the Jotun. They were smaller, they were medium size, and the giants had been around for a while. But the Jotuns possessed wisdom, and their cultural hero, Garm, was able to trick a number of the giants by manipulating messages delivered by different messengers and carriers. And over time, he was able to convince a number of the different giant units that there was a conspiracy amongst them, one trying to get an edge over the other for prestige. And they began to war amongst each other. And Garm used this rift as a wedge. And a little message here, and a plot there. And before you knew it, the giants were warring amongst themselves more than they were upon the Jotun. And very shortly, the giant race was sundered. And instead of being one race, they became many. And the races that you see in the world today, populating everywhere. Most of the giant races have forgotten their war on the Jotun, but not all. The most common giants that still war upon the Jotun are the hill giants, ogres, and trolls. But the giants with the hardest, deepest hatred of the Jotun are the frost giants. And Jotun wander into the cold realms with great care. For they know if the frost giants find them, they will hunt them to an exclusion of anything else in the vicinity. So now I'm going to talk about the stats a little bit. The Jotun have fairly standard family units, bear live young just like humans do, that kind of thing. Their diet is omnivorous. Nothing particularly special there. Now the stats are they have a +2 wisdom, +2 strength, and a -2 dexterity. They are not particularly dexterous or agile, but they are very strong and intuitive. A medium size, normal speed, low light vision. They have defensive training. Jotun get a +4 dodge bonus to AC against monsters of the giant subtype. Remember, dwarves in the 12 races setting do not get this bonus, so there's no real duplicity here. Give me a second, let me scroll. They have the powerful build racial trait. The physical stature of the Jotun lets them function in many ways if they were one size category larger. Whenever a Jotun is subject to a size modifier or a special size modifier for an opposed check, such as during grapple checks, bull rush, etc. The Jotun is treated as one size larger if doing so is advantageous to him. A Jotun is also considered to be one size larger when determining whether a creature's special attacks based on size, such as grab or swallow, whole, can affect him. A Jotun can use a weapon designed for a creature one size larger without penalty. However, his space and reach remain those of a creature of his actual size. The benefits of this racial trait stack with the benefits of powers, abilities, and spells that change the subject's size category. And this functions only for artificial weapons. Soul knives would function as well, but natural weapons, if the Jotun had some form of natural weapons, martial arts, for example, in the form of a monk ability, do not work with this ability. Weapon familiarity. Jotun receive a +1 hit and +1 damage with any spear or spear-like weapon, spear, short spear, long spear, javelin, etc., and treat any weapon with the word Jotun in it as a martial weapon. A Jotun have specialized in using spears against giants. They're particularly useful. Their languages, they start with the trade tongue, Jotun, and giant. Those with high intelligence can also pick Dwarven or Terran. They have a lot of affinity for the dwarves and for the earth. Two Jotun weapons are the Jotun Great Spear, and a medium Great Spear is a two-handed weapon. It does 2d6 damage times 3 critical hit piercing. Large is 3d6 times 3 piercing damage. Range increment 20. It's an exotic weapon. Isn't particularly good at throwing. It's a very heavy weapon, very popular amongst the two-handed martial fighters. And then you also have the Jotun Double Spear, which is a spear with spearheads on either end. Obviously, it's a double weapon. Medium does 1d8 slash 1d8 piercing. The large version is 2d6 slash 2d6 piercing. Multiplier is 19 or 20 times 2. It's a variation on the double sword. The Jotun also make use of the atlatl, which doubles the range of a javelin and gives a +2 bonus to damage. Spear throwers, the atlatl, which is what an atlatl is, are really very efficient. Real research has shown that they can increase impact damage by as much as 200%. Really quite impressive. And there is an international atlatl association in the world today. So those are the Jotun, more or less like in a thumbnail sketch of what they are. I'm still working on the details. I'm interested in hearing if you have any suggestions for this particular race. I think that they're fairly well balanced. Nothing really overpowering. I think the one thing they do have is the powerful build characteristic, which makes them very good at melee combat and also with thrown weapons. They are based off of the half-giants from the Psionics Unleashed Pathfinder book from Dream Scarred Press. And I switched out some things so they had a desert adaptation and a bunch of psionic abilities. I stripped those out and put in the defensive ability and the weapon familiarity. So, any thoughts or suggestions from viewers? You're greatly appreciated.